Today, I just want to welcome you all to this webinar of the Association of African Universities. Yes, it was out of need that we organized this webinar. And my name is Dr. Violet Makuku. I'm a quality assurance specialist at the AAU, the Accra project manager, and also the workshops coordinator here. So we have this webinar today, and I'm highly excited to have all of you here. Now we have our program. Let's start with the general presentation format. So initially, we are going to talk about the Association of African Universities, because it's quite interesting to know that some people thought it was 1 year old, some said it's 10 years old, but to tell you the truth, we are going to 53 years old. So this is very important for those who are just getting in touch with us for the first time. After that, we look at the background and the AAU's response after the COVID-19 pandemic outbreak. We move on to AAU's available support. This is part of the support that we have been giving our member institutions and African higher education in general. We are also going to move on to about Valley View University. It's a private university, and I will tell you how I came to know about what they did and how important I found it to share with the rest of the continent and those who are grappling maybe to make things happen. And then we have the Valley View transformation case, and then a call to action to all of us, including our leaders, whom if they don't have the buy-in, if they don't have the vision, then everybody else who may try in vain. Then we see then how we can move on to engage our governments through our national accreditation bodies and also through our responsible ministries. We will also briefly look at the importance of quality assurance in the new digitized space, and also particularly on online and open and distance learning. You know, for a long time, if people were not resisting, we could be caught in another different scenario during the COVID-19 pandemic and outbreak. But we have an issue. We had an issue again then that people were trying to see and develop trust in the credibility of online and distance and education learning, which is some of the aspects that we are going to handle in this webinar. And then in the end, we will have our question and answer session. Please allow me to tell you that the question and answer session will come at the end, because as the presentation unfolds, some of your questions will be answered by the presenters as we move on. So about myself briefly, as I told you, I'm the quality assurance expert here. I just have a PhD in quality assurance and also some background in curriculum studies, education, higher education, research, and all that. But I've worked in a university for about 12 years plus in Bindura University of Science Education. Before then, I became a director quality assurance. That time I started as a teaching assistant and then became a lecturer and director of quality assurance before I came to the Association of African Universities in 2016. And so since 2020, I'm doing a lot in quality assurance, but the AAU in general is concerned about quality assurance in higher education. And so whatever we do, we build towards that. I've given you the presentation format. AAU was established in 1967 with now a membership of over 400, scattered in all the regions of higher education in Africa, East Africa, Central, Southern, and Northern and Western Africa. Our membership also cuts across the linguistic and geographical boundaries. We have regional offices in East Africa, in Sudan, Khartoum University, and also in North Africa, it's housed in Al-Azhar University in Egypt, Cairo. We also have our diaspora office in North America, where we are trying to mobilize the diaspora and make sure that we move on with the rest of the people who belong to the African continent, but who are scattered everywhere across the continent and across the world. We have a mandate from the African Union Commission, but naturally we are the implementing arm of African Union on higher education matters. We are the Continental Education Strategy for Africa coordinator, and we are moving it on. We have a large platform that engages African vice chancellors, rectors, and presidents through the Conference of Rectors, Vice Chancellors, and Presidents in Africa, including the relevant ministries and other higher education key holders. Our vision is to be the leading advocate for higher education in Africa, with the capacity to provide support for its member institutions in meeting national, continental, and global needs. Our mission also is to enhance the quality and relevance of higher education to Africa and strengthen its contribution to Africa's development through fostering collaboration among its members, providing support to their core functions of teaching, research, and community engagement, facilitating critical reflection on and consensus around issues affecting higher education and the development of Africa in general. So what we do is we use the creation of platforms which enable us to bring higher education key stakeholders together, where we can digest and reflect on issues affecting higher education or issues which can move our higher education forward so that it becomes relevant. AAU also focuses on areas favorable policy, environment, and higher education prioritized at national, regional, and continental levels. We prioritize quality assurance, institutional capacity of members, like what we are doing now in higher education to strengthen their delivery and their mandates. Harmonized and standardized quality assurance in African higher education. We also want to look at sustainable financing mechanisms for AAU. Right. We are drawing closer to why we are having this webinar. So during the COVID-19 pandemic outbreak, AAU was highly responsive with a lot of programs. We started with programs for vice chancellors, programs for the national regulatory bodies, campaigns to ask universities to allow the university doors to remain open through any possible means, even if the actual campuses were closed down and some students remained on campus, particularly international students, whilst other students went away. So we did a lot of advocacy, high-level advocacy, targeting also governments and telecommunication providers, because the only means was now to reach out to students through WhatsApp groups online, which all require and demand data. We moved on to do surveys of African universities, assessing the level of preparedness and also these disruptions and how they had affected universities in general. We mounted capacity building. Right now we have 2 workshops which are running. One is run by Ms. Nodu Motamini, who is the Director of ICT Knowledge Management and Communications at the Association of African Universities from June until sometime in July. We also have Prof. Dakwa, who is also running these workshops, virtual workshops on supporting online teaching and learning. And we are hosting webinars, a lot of them. And I encourage you not to miss the webinar that is coming up on the 2nd of July, because it is very critical and important, since it will address issues of quality assurance and how we can move on to build the trust in the employers as key stakeholders who will recruit our graduates as employers. So we are the most important and critical areas that can move us forward. Brokering partnerships that can enable us to move forward and support the universities. Infrastructure is one of the key areas that we are concerned about, and this is very important to us. Now, I think I've talked about the pandemic and how AAU responded with the COVID pandemic. The lockdowns came in, and then the continental and international interventions we have done. And we observed certain gaps, particularly when I watched and took part in most of the webinars. They are still more of supporting teaching and learning, but it's more than that. How do you support teaching and learning before the universities have been supported in terms of the process to put in place what is required to have the online teaching and learning going on? So this is part of the reason why we are having this webinar. We also identified quality assurance gaps. We identified gaps again in other aspects which have to do with the marketing and enrollment of students and staff during this period and beyond, because there's no doubt that some of the universities will not turn back to have the blended mode and also more of online mode. So these are the other areas which are listed here where we are doing capacity building in quality assurance, teaching skills. The workshops are going on, research methods, communication and intellectual property, library services. Everybody needs to be supported. And we will continue with these virtual meetings and workshops to support resource mobilization. Everybody would agree with me that there's no other time where we need resources than now. But how are we going to mobilize those resources so that we can improve our infrastructure, we can shift on to digitized modes of operations and workspaces in the universities? Internationalization, we can't rule it out. We still need it. There are many other workshops which we do here at AAU in terms of capacity development, and you can contact me for any other extra information. We have certificate of participation and support materials which are given to those who attend. These are some of the previous and the very last workshops which we held before the COVID-19 outbreak. This was in Botswana. This was the University for Development Studies here in Ghana, in Tamale. And this one was the Botswana University of Agriculture and Natural Resources. And it was also one of the last ones. And it was well attended. We prepared them for the Google Classroom, which is why they are very appreciative of our workshops, because they just jumped on it when the COVID-19 broke out, and it helped them a lot. Now we are going to switch on. I will stop sharing and we will move on to Valley View University. They are going to tell us about who they are, and they are going to tell us about their transformation process, which is what some of the universities are grappling with. How do we move on with the process? So for Valley View University, We first heard of them when they were on television, one of the television channels in Ghana, when the president announced that now universities can open and other academic institutions can open for face-to-face. Valley View University stood up and said, for us, we are home and dry, we are comfortable. We have another alternative and it's fully functional. We are going online and no student will come back on campus. And I said, wow. So I started chasing after them for them to share with the rest of the continent and the world how they did this transition, which is so good to such an extent that they were confident to say we will not open for face-to-face when most of the universities elsewhere were eager to say, when are we going to open for the face-to-face? We will hear the staff experiences, we will hear the student experiences, the role of guidance and counseling, handling of quality assurance issues, which is a major issue of concern for me in particular as a quality assurance expert. Let's hear what they will say. And then eventually I will wrap up with a call to action and a bit of tips on quality assurance. So this time around, let me call upon Dr. Stella Appiah from Valley View University to share a screen. So I'll stop sharing so that she can come on board. Dr. Stella Appiah is a senior lecturer and head of nursing department in Valley View University. She has a Doctor of Philosophy in Nursing, majoring in Nursing Administration from Our Lady of Fatima University, Venezuela, and Philippines, Venezuela City in Philippines. Masters of Philosophy in Nursing, School of Nursing, University of Ghana, Legon. Bachelor of Arts in Nursing. She's also a member of Ghana Registered Nurses Association, Fellow of the West African College of Nursing. Family life, she's married and she has 4 children. The list goes on and on. Over to you, Dr. Stella. We are happy to have you here. Just do the presentation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Doctor, and I'm glad that you have introduced me. I'm presenting on Valley View University, located in Ghana, West Africa. And you can see the serene atmosphere of Valley View University. Valley View University was established in 1979, meaning that we are 40 years
Hello,
old.
Dr. Stella. Hello, yes, you may need to scroll your slides as you talk and you scroll the corresponding slides. Yes, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you very much. And so Valley View University, as you can see, the beautiful environment that we have, geographically friendly and ecologically beautiful. Valley View University was established in 1979, so the university is over 40 years old. And for now, we are the first, and we are proud to say, the first private university in Ghana, and we belong to over 100 universities around the world, belonging to the Seventh-day Adventist Church. Valley View University's vision is to be a center of excellence for Christian education. We also have the mission of, as a Seventh-day Adventist institution, to emphasize academic, spiritual, vocational, and technological excellence for God and humanity. Our core values are excellence, integrity, and service. Valley View University, as I indicated, we are accredited by 2 major accreditation bodies, internationally and locally. Internationally, we have the Adventist Accrediting Association in Maryland, USA, and then the National Accreditation Board in Ghana. And since 1997, we have been accredited up to today. Valley View University was granted a presidential charter, in fact, the first of its kind in the country, to award our own degrees. So we are autonomous and we have the right to run our programs, though we are just checked for quality assurance purposes. And Valley View University since 2006 has been proud to possess this charter from the President of Ghana. The main campus is located at OEB, Accra, and we have other 2 satellite campuses, Kumasi and Techiman, and then other learning centers, all to make sure that every individual within the country is covered to receive higher education that is of quality. We run various programs, our School of Graduate Studies, we run Masters and PhD programs, and then School of Business, we offer Bachelors of Business Administration across all the scope, human resource management, strategic management, and all that. School of Education, we offer secondary education program, and we are proud to say that all the schools in the country are filled with our teachers. School of Nursing and Midwifery, we offer nursing, midwifery, and mental health programs. And then the adult and distance education cannot be left out because we have to cover individuals who are also working and would want to have higher education. Faculty of Science, where our computer science program and IT are located. And in fact, we are proud to say that our computer science program is one of the best in Africa, if not the only one. And then we have Faculty of Arts and Sciences, where our School of Theology and Mission Development Studies is also offered. Valley View University is proud to say that we run different modes just to meet the individual wherever you are. We have regular programs for our students who come through the morning to the evening. Then we have sandwich program where the teachers come in during the vacation period, where the students are home, then the teachers will come and upgrade themselves in order to deliver quality. And then we have summer school where we target the nurses because it's very difficult for them to come. So they take their annual leave, and June, July, they are here on campus, and then they also enhance themselves. We also run evening school just to meet those who find difficulties to be here in the morning or during the summer program. And then we also handle weekend school. We are proud to say that all groups of people, matured people who have the difficulty to have gone through their O-levels, they go through mature program and they are admitted. We also run access program so that they can also be admitted to our regular programs. Valley View University is proud to say that we have higher number of people within our campuses, at least almost 10,000 students. And you can see that 2019-2020 academic year levels 100 to 400, the breakdown that you can see 1,000 and over for level 100, 2,000, and so forth. We also have the male-female ratio of our final year student. Because of the COVID, we decided to show you, we have male 1,761 and females 1,247, making 3,000 and over students who were within our final year who received this tremendous transformation during this period. We also have the male-female at the graduate school level. We have 623 students. And then the faculty full-time and part-time ratio, we can see that our teaching faculty, 131 are full-time, and the non-teaching 273. Valley View University is located at mile 19, Accra Dodowa Road, OEB. If you get to the Central Business of Ghana in Accra, it won't take you long to get to our beautiful and serene campus. Our postal address, as you can see, has been displayed, and then you can always contact us through this. Our enrollment is all year round, meaning that throughout the year, from January to December, because of the different modes that we run, we are able to enroll students at various levels for them to receive quality Christian-based education. And so admission is open to everyone who qualifies, irrespective of religious background, because we are here to serve Ghana and beyond. You can find Valley View University on our website that has been displayed, www.vvu.edu.gh, and our emails are admission@vvu.edu.gh and info@vvu.edu.gh. And you can also call us, and we are always available, especially through our WhatsApp pages and then other phone calls. If you call us, Valley View, we are always ready to listen to your complaints and or to your comments you want to give to us. Thank you very much for listening to us, and we are proud to say that Valley View University stands for excellence, integrity, and service. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Stella. So if you are saying your Faculty of Science is the best, is it the reason why you also managed to push through? Let's see as the discussion and the presentations unfold. I just want to quickly call upon Dr. Winfred Ofo. He is the one who was leading the team. Dr. Winfred is a senior lecturer and currently Director of Information Technology Services at Valley View University. He holds a Bachelor of Science in Computer Science from Valley View University. So an alumnus is serving a master's and a PhD in Information Systems from the University of Ghana. Prior to joining Valley View in 2012, Dr. Winfred worked in the Information Technology Services Division of the Societe Generale Bank in Ghana. He taught information systems and other computer-related courses at Valley View University. And he has served a lot. In terms of practice, he served as a systems analyst for most projects within Valley View University and a number outside. He is a member of the Association of Information Systems and UK Association of Information Systems, and currently working towards being a certified information systems auditor. I can go on and on. Please, let's welcome Dr. Winfred to talk about the transformation process. You see, the CV tells us he is very comfortable with the field and he was very comfortable with the transformation. Welcome, Doctor, and we want you to move on. Dr. Winfred Ofo Lakoti, welcome.
Thank you, Dr. Paulette. As said, my name is Winfred Lakoti, and I'm the Director for Valley View University's ITS services. Currently, Valley View started its online program, some kind of a hybrid program in 2016 with our distance program. Our distance program actually has an extension of the weekend program for the business school. And therefore, what we do is that they meet face-to-face fortnightly, and then in between, they use technology to help in their learning. So this, our e-learning platforms were actually accrued to the distance program. However, when the government called all universities to go down or to close, there was a need for us to start as a university to expand our e-learning platforms to cover all areas, our campuses, to cover our learning modes, and to cover our programs. Because of this, the provision staff put together a quick team, which we call the Educational and Instructional Technology Support Unit. Now, this team is made up of some groups. We have the instructional technologists. They look at the technical aspects of the platform itself. Then we also have the content designers or the instructional support unit. Now, what's unique about ours was that because it was an immediate situation, we needed all hands on deck. So we had some volunteered students who came to help us in terms of the content designing. And then we also had a faculty member heading that unit. We had a communication team. There was a need for us to communicate with our students. Response and then prompt communication was needed in order to bring everybody on board. There was also the finance. You know, our students would be paying fees. Some of them would be having issues with their registration and all those things. There was a need for a member of the finance department to be part of this team to make sure that we could move forward. Generally, we had the IT services where we had the technical guys making sure our internet was working. Our hardware devices were also in place. We had the health, because we're in the COVID season, there was a need for us to have the health experts guide us. And so there was a health expert on our team. And then we had a psychologist. we may all realize that this was a new phase for most of our students, especially since we're expanding to other programs, modes, and all those things. Therefore, there was a need for a psychologist to prepare our students, their minds, and also the faculty who may not have had an opportunity to go through the e-learning. What was the purpose of this team? It was simply to expand our e-learning platform to cover all our campuses and programs, and to make sure that all our learning modes.
Dr. Winfred, you are not very audible, so if you can hear me, can you kindly position your speakers very well so that participants can hear you? Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Can you hear me now? Sorry.
Yes, it's better.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. The university had to break for, like all other universities, our university had to break for 3 weeks for us to plan. During this period, we're supposed to put together all the policies, put together the tools we needed and the resources to move the university forward from that time. So what we did was, while the team was working to get the plan, by the Pro Vice Chancellor and the deans and the heads of departments working together to bring out policies such as teaching, online teaching and learning guide, acceptable teaching practices and environment, and also the online examinations policy. These policies were needed to serve as a guiding framework for the e-learning approach or e-learning platforms activities. As a university, we also took the opportunity to provide policies that were going to guide online teaching and learning all through the period and for the future. Now, as part of the preparations, what we did was we had our students find out which data. You bear with me that in Ghana, not all places had the same kind of network connectivity, strength in network connectivity. So what we had to do was to get our students to tell us which network they were comfortable with, as in which network was good in their community. Students subscribed to various networks. We had 3 networks coming up. We had the MTN, Vodafone, Airtel, Tigo. Now, for some of our, for instance, when it comes to MTN, we needed to whitelist our pages because MTN was a bit expensive for the university to accommodate. Therefore, what we did was that we whitelisted our e-learning pages. Once you are using MTN, you should easily be able to access the e-learning page without any hassle. For Vodafone users, they whitelist data for our students. Airtel users also were given data, and also where the pages were whitelisted. All these were to make sure that our students were comfortable, our faculty members were comfortable during this period, so they could be able to teach and learn as well. Now, as part of the preparations, the Vice Chancellor, because students were on break, the Vice Chancellor had to send a video, prepare a video, and then send to the students. We put on the students' platforms. This video sought to inform students about the e-learning and to get their minds prepared, the way forward towards the e-learning approach. The administration also engaged the student leaders. Student leaders are very crucial in this stage, at this stage. And for the students to be able to participate and agree with us and also engage happily in the e-learning, there was a need for us to engage the student administration. So administration did that. The e-learning team also engaged all students across our various campuses. You know, students had their fears. There was a need for us to engage them through a question and answer time on Telegram pages. And students asked a lot of questions. We calmed their fears. And so that also helped us. Now, part of what we also did, we made sure that our school fees was to be paid. Valley View has been using, on the main campus, which is the OEB campus, we've been using the mobile money platforms from all networks to pay our school fees. But it served as a backup. Mainly before the COVID-19, students used the bank to pay, and then they bring the pay slip, and then it was keyed in. But because the banks were partially closed and we didn't want our students to go through all the hassle and bustle, we decided to activate our mobile money platforms across all our campuses and across all our programs so that our students could comfortably from their homes pay their school fees or pay for other services. Now, during this same period, what we did was that we expanded it to cover all other services like our transcripts, like requesting for certificates, requesting for a letter of introduction. So you could easily pay with the mobile money and select the service you wanted. And that really helped. Finally, I'm just going to talk about the preparation stages because I have some of my colleagues who will be talking about how we implemented. God has been good with us. We realized
Can't
that.
hear you.
Hello, can you hear me now?
So what we
Yes,
will do is
Mr.
that,
Dr. Winfred, kindly go on. Kindly go on. We can hear you. Kindly go on.
Okay, thank you. So what God has been good to us. It wasn't an easy task. The team had sleepless nights, but by God's grace, they were able to go through this period. Our administration, technology cannot actually work without the backing of management. So our administration also had a solid backing of our administration. They provided us with all the resources we need on the spot to make sure that we could achieve this. They also required of us periodic reports, and that also helped us to stay on course as the administration. The faculty and students also provided us the best opportunities. They were patient with us. Initially, when we started, it was a bit rough. But faculty members, students calmed down, we spoke to them, and then together we knew it was an uncharted path, but we all worked hard towards it. I can tell you that this has provided us several opportunities. For instance, students are now, in the next week, students are going to be reading their manifestos online. They don't need to come to campus because the student representative council has to have their elections. So students are going to be reading their manifesto online. They are going to be voting online across wherever they find themselves across the world. Students are going to be voting online. And then we are going to even be having an online graduation very soon. I must make you aware that Valley View prides in its strength of developing all its software in-house. And that's what we did during this period. The e-learning team has been very hardworking, and God has been with us. And so this is where I want us to end. My colleague Michael will talk severally about other things when he gets there. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Winfred. Quite exciting and insightful. Yes, I picked the key issues, technical team, communication team, the student support, the registration, the health, and the psychological support for everyone, which we may look down upon, but I think surely people went through a torrid time and a stressful time to adjust and accept moving on with alternative means and modes. A lot of uncertainties, these definitely required the intervention of psychological support. And then they talked about policies and resources, online teaching, learning environments, and exams, network, very key. How do we move on without supporting our students and staff? Sometimes you realize that our intervention and even the national government intervention is very critical at this moment. But we also need to cultivate good relations at that level with providers of the different services that we need. They gave us an example of the internet providers, MTN, Vodafone, and Airtel. The student support is really overwhelming. Sending a video for students to understand what was going on and what the university had plans for them, the engagement, student engagement, and this kind of commitment is sometimes we overlook it, but without engaging the students, we have too many strikes and demonstrations and tarnishing of the names of the universities, but they really took care of that. When you give a platform for students for question and answers, it's excellent. They will not be stressed because what stresses the students and faculty is that they have lots of questions. They can't concentrate because unless these questions are responded to, then nothing will move on. Management backing, this one is key. Although he mentioned it at the end, I think this is one of the first and initial things that without the vision, what would happen? Periodic reports, it excites me as a quality assurance personnel that periodic reports were submitted by faculty and students, and then this move to read the manifesto and vote for the SRC online, develop software and in-house. That is, to me, quite credible. Those are some of the take-homes. That's why I repeated them. So coming on, we are going to have Mrs. Akia Ponsa Kusi. She is a clinical psychologist and a lecturer in Valley View University. She obtained a bachelor's and master's degrees from the University of Ghana. She serves the guidance and counseling unit aside teaching. She renders counseling services to many students to realize their potential and growth. She is a family woman. Welcome to the psychologist, Mrs. Kusi.
Thank you very much, Dr. Makuku. The COVID period was quite a stressful one. COVID itself put a lot of fear in us. We were anxious how to deal and keep ourselves safe at the time. And at the same time, students had to deal with learning from home, which is a challenge. That's why most students move from their homes to come to school so that they can concentrate, they could have the space, they could have the support of their friends and meet their lecturers face to face. COVID will not allow us to do that. But we couldn't stop our lives and wait till when COVID will set us free, and we needed to move on. And so we needed to encourage our students to take up this challenging task of learning from home and moving on with their lives. At least we can take control of what we could and leave the rest till COVID sets us free fully. So we did a video to encourage students wherever they are. In Ghana, you realize that people come from far and near to school. They come from villages, they live in families that have constrained with space. Some are parents themselves, some do not have access to internet where they live. So thinking of e-learning was a big stress for students. Some are not even comfortable with computer typing on their own, maneuvering their own way through the system. And we needed to do this, else we would have to wait. And so we spoke to students, acknowledging that we appreciate their challenges. We know that it's not an easy task. It's not going to be a stressless exercise, but it's a possible exercise. So we encourage them on how to deal with their fears, first of COVID itself, second of studying from home. We encourage them to know that it's possible. There is always something new we need to adjust to, and we are capable of doing it. So we encourage them. We encourage them with how they could connect with their friends, they could manage their families at home, manage their time, their space, seek support from family members, and also make them aware of all the opportunities they have to connect with the team on campus to support them in whatever they need. With this, a lot of people were able to enroll, a lot of people participated, and to a large extent, almost all our students have gone through this period successfully. They've gone through the semester, they've done their exams, and some even now have enrolled to do summer school. This shows that they were encouraged, they knew we understood what they were going through, they were helped to deal with it, and now they have the courage to even take the next step of doing another session in their academic life. And I think God has been gracious to us and our students. Thank you.
Thank you very much for the presentation. And I think what we are getting through and through is the kind of support that the students got. Like what Mrs. Kusi has told us, the take homes are, we noted a period of uncertainty, and we know this, all of us, everybody, it's not only the students who were uncertain, And the students needed support. The staff also needed support. She did not touch on that one, but maybe later on, if time permits, students needed support in studying from home, managing families, but the aspect of encouragement and institutional support managed to take them through. Thank you very much. So this time around, I just want to call upon Dr. Stella, just an overview, because as for the health measures, I think from a household to an institution to national level, a lot has been said, and most people are now aware of the health measures that could be put in place. So can you just briefly tell us something about the health measures that you put in place? Because I believe some staff still have to come on campus to support with the infrastructure which is based on campus.
Thank you very much, Doc, and I'm grateful to be back again. Yes, the national and international precautions were all followed because we needed to make sure that all people working for the university's e-learning program to be successful were also to be healthy, because if you are not healthy, you cannot deliver your services. And so what we did was to make sure that all our campuses, immediately having the COVID committee in place, were stocked with all the precautionary tools to be able to go through the e-learning program. And so we had Veronica buckets with water, soap, running water for everybody to wash their hands before you enter our campus. And then you needed to put on mask, no entry policy was also implemented. We also made sure that the e-learning team had a working space protected so that people will not come from far and near to infect them. And therefore, we made sure that they were protected from their provided hand washing materials for them, and then sanitizers at the entrance of the room so that you wash your hands and then sanitize yourself in order to be able to enter. Like you said, there were students and faculty who needed support from their team members. And so they were also provided with working space so that they will not mingle unnecessarily with their team members. And so they were also provided with all the materials to protect themselves. We also made sure that the team members were given accommodation on campus, and those who could not be accommodated, the university vehicle transported them so that they were not joining the public transport to work, in order to ensure that they don't mingle with other people. Our foreign students were kept on campus strictly, so they were fed from our cafeteria so that they would not be moving out and come in with anything to infect the community. We also made sure that our foreign students were provided with all the necessary equipment, sanitizers, and then Veronica buckets with soap and water, and then they were given masks, and so that they will be able to change as and when necessary. We were there to receive students' complaints, so we had our Telegram platform and other platforms to communicate with them so that as much as possible, they were not moving to us. And even if it became necessary for them to move, there were people to receive them observing social distances so that everybody will be protected. And through it all, we made sure that we made them aware, not necessarily to shun them, because these were the students who were hugging and greeting and all that. But they needed to appreciate the current situation we have found ourselves. So it became the new normal to be able to move with the trend as it is. And God so good, all members of the team were protected as of now. We never had incidents, meaning that we were able to be protected by the grace of God. And as a Christian institution, we cannot forget that aspect. And so as of now, we're still observing all the protocols that we need to, so that we can still stay alive and continue with our e-learning program. And so as much as possible, we made sure all resources were made available from the university administration. And we say that it has been a wonderful experience. Thank you very much, Dr. Makuku, for the opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I see I'm just excited, and what I'm learning is that protect that which is valuable to you. And these people know what drives the whole process and what can sustain the whole process. I'm repeating what she said. We made sure that we provide a space for the technical team, the ICT team that was running the whole process. You know, everything else is hinged on that. And I also picked the issue of concern of staff. As we know how the virus is transmitted, they gave accommodation to minimize the intermingling with the outside communities, and also to provide transport from within the university to go and pick. These are some of the things we should borrow from this webinar, and if possible, also adopt and adapt to our different circumstances. Masks, they gave masks, but sometimes if we reflect, maybe in our institutions, we are asking our staff to also buy their own masks or what. Why don't you brand, have a fabric for your university, and as they put on the mask, they are also marketing and advertising your university. Here at AAU, they give us, they also support us. Platforms for communication, not ordinary platforms, but effective platforms so that students would not come to campus. And this is one very important thing which you see that once we protect staff and students, everybody has got a high succession rate, and we are looking forward to the main goal of having our students graduating and progressing. This time around, let me call upon Mr. Michael Asare to tell us how they went about the e-learning plan and implementation. Thank you. This is very important, I think, is at the core of the teaching and learning, which is the reason why really we have these academic institutions. If we were not there to teach and students were there to learn and to also have our research and community engagement, then what are institutions there for? The academic institutions. Thank you. Over to you, Sir Asare.
Thank you very much, Dr. Makuku. Good day to the AAU community and participants worldwide. We are really excited to share our success story. And the main objective for implementing the e-learning was to have a virtual university. And I would say this, the implementation was very successful, mainly because of the collaboration between the Educational and Instructional Technology Support Unit and the Faculty of Science of Valley University. Most of the systems we use here on campus are designed by us, for us, and I'm referring to our alumni. It will interest you to note that the core of the team that did implementation are all alumni of Valley View University. And so when we started this, we needed to have a plan, something like a guide. So we had parameters guiding us through the implementation. We needed to have an idea of how the system will look like when completed. So we're looking at a system that will come with virtual classroom, synchronous and asynchronous courses, customizability and adaptability. We're looking at a system that will have the integration of games and gamification, multiple tests and assessment. We needed to have a system with an analytics engine, system that was mobile friendly or that could support mobile learning. And last but not least, we're looking at a system with smooth and intuitive interfaces. So with this in mind, as a guide, we hit the ground running. And during the planning stages, although we had the power in the house, infrastructure power to host the system, we were thinking of power issues. You know, in Ghana, there is this fluctuation of power. So we didn't want to take any chances. We wanted to make sure that our users could access our systems almost all the time. We're looking at a 99.9% uptime. So the team decided to look online. And I remember in one of our meetings, the Dean for Faculty of Science, Mr. Dominic Damwa, saying, and I quote, "Gentlemen, let's go for too much power," unquote. And that is exactly what we did. We made sure that we went for too much power. So we built all our servers from scratch. We leveraged on open source. We got an open source operating system. We made sure we had a node to handle the application. We had a node or server handling the virtual classroom. We had one for our backup. And we even went ahead and created a security information and event management system, a SIM, that will serve as a watchdog, monitoring all the other nodes on the network. So after building our servers and doing the needed configurations, we created a subdomain and then mapped it to the IP address that was given by the cloud service provider. So we now have our infrastructure as a service. We have set up our servers running all configured, and we decided to go for Moodle. That is what we've been using all this while. So we installed the latest version of Moodle. And one of the things we did was to set the time zone to UTC, Universal Time Coordinated, to make sure that students are not allowed to change the time. You know, students will always try to be smart, will try to cheat the system. And it is important for everyone setting up Moodle to take care of this. If you don't do that, the student can just change their time zone. And when you put examinations out there, they get to see the questions even before examination starts. So we did that configuration. We installed a few plugins like the attendance module, assignment module, user locations to track where our users were coming from, and even reporting, just to mention a few. We had modules like the automatic notification to students, such that anytime a lecturer uploads a resource, students are activated, or students are notified of these resources. They receive the notifications via their emails and other social media platforms. Students were notified of activity completion and even frequently used resources on the portal. We did a few integrations. So in the case of the virtual classroom, we installed and integrated Jitsi, Zoom, Big Blue Button to make sure lecturers had options. So lecturers could choose which one was convenient in their case. We also did integration with Telegram. What we did was that we allowed students to receive notifications from the e-learning system via Telegram. So students will be there and then they will just receive a message coming from Valley University that you have an assignment that is due. You have examination in 1 week. You need to download a resource that has been uploaded by your lecturer. And that is very important. I think others implementing e-learning can also emulate. We also did the integration of G Suite. Valley University is on Google Labs for Education, or G Suite for Education. So we integrated with Google Maps, Google Docs, Google Drive. The Drive was serving as our repository. We also did integration with Microsoft to make sure that all the Microsoft applications were supported on the platform. We did one other important thing, that was to install and configure Unicom. So this is an open source plugin that allows lecturers to view or annotate any document that was uploaded by a student. So being it a PDF document, a Word document, an Excel document, or even an image, lecturers could see that when students submit them. And we looked at the platform. We didn't want our system to be platform dependent. So we looked at making sure that any device that was powered by internet connection could access our e-learning system. So we made sure it was running on web browsers. We got a desktop version for Windows and Mac, and we went on to the mobile versions. So we had it running on Android, iOS, and Windows phones. So irrespective of the device or the platform, you could still use our system. And then how were we disseminating information? We decided to create social media pages for our students, and we chose Telegram. Why Telegram? In my opinion, Telegram is one of the best messaging tools that one can leverage on. Telegram supports about 10,000 or over 10,000 users. It is flexible when you are using it to manage your users, and it has a poll function. It allows you to upload or send files irrespective of their sizes or types, and even the security, the encryption that comes with Telegram. So we chose Telegram. We created groups for the regular mode, created groups for the sandwich, the weekend, graduate school, etc. And one of the things we did was to make it a one-way traffic where information was only sent to students, and students could not reply on those particular platforms. We had another page where students could send their queries or their questions, challenges, and could receive solutions real time. So after creating this, we could send the information as and when needed to keep our students updated.